T-Man again, bringing you guys another motherfucking video, and this one will be doing my WrestleMania 31 review video, giving my thoughts and opinions on this past Sunday's WrestleMania. It is now Tuesday that I'm shooting this video, so Raw has already passed. I'm going to leave out the Raw parts, and I did see Raw, and for the first time in months, when I do shoot my Raw video, I'm going to shoot it tomorrow. I only have time to make one video today, guys, so I know I'm 2 days late on WrestleMania. I'm going to be 2 days late on my Monday Night Raw review, and for the first time in months, like I was just beginning to say, you guys are going to hear a review about Raw that is actually good. What I mean by that is this Raw was actually very, very decent. But let's talk about WrestleMania 31, guys. This was a very good WrestleMania. This WrestleMania here really impressed me. You know, I had a lot of friends of mine that were saying, going into this, that I talked to leading up to it and during it, that thought that this was going to be one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. And I said no. It wasn't going to be the worst WrestleMania of all time. Did I know has it been the worst build-up of all time? Yeah, I've said that in my videos. No doubt about it that this has been one of the worst build-ups to a WrestleMania of all time. Monday Night Raw has been pretty much unwatchable. It's been very fucking boring lately. But I did say in one of my videos that they always deliver on WrestleMania. No matter how bad the storylines or whatever, WrestleMania is always entertaining. Now, what I did not know was how good WrestleMania was going to be, how great it was. It really was. I would go as far as to say one of the better ones that we had in a long time. I wouldn't say the best of all time, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I think I might even put it maybe 5 or 6 of all time. And what made it so good was the moments in this WrestleMania. There was a lot of very cool special moments that made it good. Now, the first thing that went in my head was this thing probably would have been one of the best of all time if the matches were booked better. And how I mean booked better were, you know, I gave examples in some of my videos, so I'm not going to run it down too much, of how what matches they could have did better, like putting Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler in a one-on-one match. Like if they would have did that, or put Daniel Bryan, like I said, I was okay with not putting Daniel Bryan in the main event, but I think him and Dolph Ziggler could really steal the show, and I'm going to talk about that Intercontinental title match. But it was really good, and WWE should be very proud of themselves, especially how bad how their storylines have been going into a WrestleMania, and they really pulled off a very good show, so they should be really proud about that. So let's go ahead and let's start off. Usually I work my way from the bottom of the card and work my way up. I'm going to just jump around, and let's start off with the main event, which I absolutely loved it, guys. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE title. The match was, I knew it was going to be a hard-hitting type of match, like a brawl type of match, but it was kind of funny because if you guys remember a few videos back that I did, and I think I talked about it in a lot of videos, those of you who watched them, I stated how if you would have put Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan, make it where Brock Lesnar is beating the living dog shit out of Daniel Bryan the whole match, then at the end have Brock Lesnar fatigue a little bit and Daniel Bryan work his way out towards the end. And in this Roman Reigns match, even though they didn't do that to the T, they kind of did a little bit what I said, but with Roman, but not all the way, because you didn't have you had Roman coming out and burst throughout the match, but the majority of the match was Brock Lesnar beating the living dog shit out of Roman Reigns. And one interesting thing about this match that I do want to point out is how Brock Lesnar got really fucking busted open in this match. He got a big cut here, some cuts here. He was bleeding a lot. He really got cut open. Now, I know WWE's rules on the blood. They don't like the blood anymore. So I wonder if that was accidental, if he just hit the turnbuckle, if Roman sent him in there too hard or something, because he was bleeding easily. Like, I was surprised. Like, it seemed like one little blow, like right at the, I think maybe the 30-second mark, 60-second mark, Brock had a cut here, and then throughout the match, his face just kept getting cut up. And even on Raw, I mean, you could see he had some stitches right here on his hairline right here. He had some stitches. So it was a really hard-hitting match. So I do wonder if that was planned, or if Brock did accidentally got cut open there, because I mean that was some really bloody shit there. But it was a lot better match than I thought. And they did make the right call at the end. If you were hiding behind the rock and you guys don't know, Seth Rollins came out at a perfect time after Brock Lesnar delivered, I don't know if it was the second or the third F5 to Roman Reigns. And here comes Seth Rollins announcing that he is cashing in the Money in the Bank. And I loved how they ended this match, and I'm going to explain to you why I loved the ending of this match. I loved it on so many different levels. For one, there is no way in God's green earth you had 72,000 people booing Roman Reigns. So there is no way in hell, and I was really scared of how WWE was going to go about this. I said in my review video, I thought that Roman was going to win. I was hoping not, but I did say in my review video, my review and preview video, I did say how I was hoping if they had the balls, they would either have Brock win or Seth Rollins comes out and cash in the Money in the Bank, and that happened. And the way they did it was awesome, because Roman is not ready for the title yet. He is going. I'm not a Roman Reigns hater. I do like Roman Reigns. He's not ready. The fans are not behind him, and the reason why the fans are not behind him is the WWE writing's fault. It's the writing. It was the writer's fault that how they booked him at the Royal Rumble and everything that happened after that. None of this is Roman Reigns' fault, even though he does need to get better on the mic, and he needs more than just the 3 moves that he explains, that he explains. You know, he only does 3 moves: the punch, the spear, and the little kick from the outside. And so anyways, having Seth Rollins come out was genius, and having him pin Roman Reigns was even more geniuser. Because the reason why that is because you just re-signed Brock Lesnar for a lot of fucking money. You just signed Brock for a lot of money, and having him get pinned kind of fucks him up a little bit, you know. The only way I would see having Brock Lesnar get pinned is maybe if Roman Reigns was completely over, if the fans were really digging him like WWE was hoping to be, and was hoping him to be the #1 guy in the company. I think I'd see Roman Reigns winning that match, beating Brock Lesnar clean, and maybe still having Seth Rollins come out and cashing it in and having 2 crown champions. But since Roman is not over yet and he's not ready, you just paid all this money to Brock Lesnar. What they did was perfect. Have Seth Rollins, and this doesn't hurt anybody in the match. To me, they put all 3 of those guys over, and they put Seth Rollins over in a huge way, obviously by winning the title. That's how they put him over. Brock, by making him look like a badass and destroying Roman Reigns. And they did make Roman Reigns look strong too by laughing at everything Brock Lesnar does, proving that he could take punishment and could be a badass in his own right, and he could take whatever Brock dishes at him and laughs at it. I thought they pulled off that whole match perfectly by having Seth Rollins pinning Roman Reigns. Absolutely perfect. And I will be commenting, like I said, on tomorrow's Raw about Brock Lesnar and how they're now their version of writing him off television. I got just if you guys want an immediate answer on that, brilliant. I love what they did on Raw the next night. Loved it. Anyways, moving on from there. So we got a new WWE champion. But since we're on Seth Rollins, like I said, I'm going to skip around. Let's talk about the match he had earlier with Randy Orton. A lot of WrestleMania was how I figured. You know, I said to my friends, and I'm pretty sure I said in the preview video, I'm pretty sure, if Seth Rollins loses against Randy Orton, it's because he's going to cash in the Money in the Bank. That's what I said. I'm really sure I said that in the preview video too. I told everybody that was at my house. I told them that. I said if Randy Orton wins, Seth Rollins is cashing in the Money in the Bank tonight. And that's exactly what happened. Randy Orton won, and not to mention, that was a very phenomenal match. That was a great match between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. And that was another reason why I knew they didn't want to put Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler in a match at WrestleMania, because they know there was still the show. They wanted to give that opportunity to Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, and they did. I mean, forgive me for saying, I think I would put that maybe as the match of the night. Not really still showing. They were all really great matches. I think that Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler would have stole the show. But anyways, it was a really good match. Great RKO from Randy Orton. Really, really enjoyed that. Really cool. Now let's talk about a moment that we saw here between Ronda Rousey and The Rock and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. I thought this was really good as well. I thought this was pretty cool. You know, you had Triple H and Stephanie make an announcement that the Levi Stadium broke the attendance record over there for that stadium, which is not surprising. The stadium has only been up for about a year, a little over a year now. So it's not really too hard to do. I mean, they've had 49er games, but I don't think they've had a whole lot of concerts or nothing like WrestleMania there. So not too surprising. And then you had The Rock come out, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing. It's just a review. I'm not going to break down everything that happened in that segment, but I thought it was really cool tease between Stephanie and Ronda and The Rock and Triple H. And then Ronda even made a text or a tweet afterwards on Twitter saying that this is not the end, this is only the beginning of that particular storyline. So I could definitely see, I wouldn't want them to stretch it out a whole year to WrestleMania 32, but I think that would be a cool thing to happen for the summer, for SummerSlam. I think that would be a big blockbuster for SummerSlam. Having The Rock and Ronda Rousey taking on Triple H and Stephanie. I think that would be really fucking cool. I don't want them to have it the whole year storyline away. I think that would be really awesome to have at SummerSlam. So we'll see where they go with that. Let's talk about Sting and Triple H, since we're talking a little bit about Triple H. Now, honestly, that was maybe my only flaw of that whole pay-per-view. I mean, just little nitpicks here and there, but this is my only flaw, was the finish of the match. Having Triple H go over Sting. And here's why I feel this is a flaw. It's a flaw because, in my opinion, it's a big mistake. And I'm not saying Sting should go over because this is his first match in WWE, his first WrestleMania, and WWE finally reached it. I'm saying he should have went over because I hear the storyline is still to have Sting against Undertaker at 32 in Undertaker's retirement match in his home state of Texas. Now, in order to have that, I believe Sting needs to go into WrestleMania with a WrestleMania win, knowing that he can win at WrestleMania on the biggest stage, and having that credit to him. Now, if you have Sting against Undertaker, it'll be just like how it was with Undertaker and Bray Wyatt this year. It's cool to see. It's cool to see the two dark figures against each other, but it really doesn't mean anything. You know, it's like the streak is already over. Here, we already know Sting could get beat by another part-time guy, and can he win on the biggest stage? I don't know. It pulls a little bit of the spotlight. You know, I don't really care for that too much. And I mean, Sting, even though this would have been Triple H's fourth loss if he would have lost, Triple H doesn't need it. He just goes on WrestleMania because he just wants to keep performing and he can't accept his retirement. And I am a huge Triple H fan. I know it seems like that. I hate it. But let's talk about the beginning. I liked Sting's little intro with the drums. I thought that was a little cool with the little Japanese guys playing the drums. I don't know why they had Japanese guy with Sting playing drums, but it was cool. And Triple H's was really funny. about the Terminator thing. Oh god, I don't know why they did that. I really don't know why they did that, but that was pretty fucking stupid. It was cool and stupid at the same time. It was pretty laughable. And let me tell you one thing. Those of you who knows I'm a big WCW and NWO fan, and I love seeing NWO against DX. You saw DX interfere in the match. You saw Shawn Michaels give a Sweet Chin Music to Sting, and I mean, you saw a lot of cool things, and you saw Hogan, Hall, and Nash, the NWO come out, and they played it off like the Monday Night Wars. They played it like the Monday Night War, WCW versus WWE, and once when that happened, I knew the way they were playing it off, I knew that Triple H was going to win, because they were playing it too much as a WWE versus WCW. And even though it's been 15 years, they are never going to give WCW a advantage, a win in any capacity. Even after 14 years, they still have to rub the little, thumb in the eye saying, hey, they won. So there you go there, guys. But it was really cool. Great to see the NWO, and it was kind of funny while seeing Nash beat up X-Pac, because X-Pac was playing the DX role, even though like X-Pac was in the NWO. So it was a really funny thing to see. It was cool. I mean, they were all friends and stuff, but it was what it was. It was cool, and it was whatever. Moving on from there, let's get the Divas match out of the way before I forget that. It was a decent Divas match. Not going to break into that. It was a typical Divas match. Paige and AJ won. I thought that was going to happen, but I'm always wrong, and I'm pretty sure I said that in my predictions. I'm usually always wrong, but I think I did predicted AJ Lee and Paige. Moving on from there, Undertaker taking on Bray Wyatt. Loved Bray Wyatt's intro with the Scarecrows. I originally heard that the Scarecrows was going to be used for Sting, because I think I might have said that in my video too. I heard that, I was reading that and it said Sting was on the Scarecrows and Triple H was going to have the Terminator thing. But I guess whoever put that was misinformed. It was actually for Bray, and it worked better for Bray. The way they used the Scarecrows, I mean, Sting, I don't think it would have been made as much sense for Sting, but it was awesome for Bray Wyatt. Kind of an old school entrance for Undertaker. Reminded me of the entrance he had at WrestleMania 20 when he came back with the hat. We're back with the hat thing again, and the trench coat, and it was exactly what I thought. It was just to get Undertaker back, get a win under his belt, and show that he's still the Dark Force. And that was the story they told. That's what I thought it was going to be. It was just to pretty much have Undertaker back and probably just get people interested in WrestleMania, because this WrestleMania buildup was really horrible. So it was really cool. That was also fun to see. What am I missing now? Ladder match. I'm not going to go too much into the ladder match. The ladder match was exactly how I thought it was going to be. It was a demolition derby. It was a bunch of guys, two guys at a time. One would take out the other guys on the apron. It was just a demolition derby, and it wasn't a still showing performance like I knew it was going to be. And then that was exactly planned by Vince McMahon. You had these guys like Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Daniel Bryan, and Wade Barrett that could steal the show, and those four guys could give you really great matches, and they put them in a demolition derby. Daniel Bryan won. I said Daniel Bryan needed the win, and he won. He did. You put him in that match. You kind of really slapped him in the face by putting him in the first match of the card for the IC title, and they did that. Now, one more big match I forgot, and I can't believe I forgot about this one. I really love this one. This was the storyline I felt that was the hardest core storyline going into WrestleMania. That was John Cena versus Rusev. How could I have forgot that one? Let's go into this one. First, right off the bat, I want to talk about I absolutely loved Rusev's entrance. Awesome, dude. It was fucking awesome. You had the Russian military guys coming out with the flag. You had the Russian national anthem playing. You had Rusev coming out with the machine guns, and you had the fucking the cannons. You had the tank. You had Rusev holding the machine gun on the tank with the Russian flag. It was badass, guys. That was probably one of my favorite entrances. I mean, there was a lot of cool entrances, but that one was really badass. I mean, that one kind of reminded me of like a Rocky IV, you know. Anytime, I'm American, so whenever I hear the Russian anthem, I think of Rocky IV, with Rocky standing in the ring with Ivan Drago, and the national anthem playing, and Rocky's looking at Drago, and they're ready to go at it, and he's in enemy territory, and they're flashing the flag, and he's standing there, and all the Russian military guys are saluting Drago. It kind of reminded me of that. It would have been kind of cool to see John Cena, standing in the ring if he would have came out the ring first. Old school wrestling, that's what would have happened. You would have had the challenger come out first and the champion, but they don't really do that anymore. I mean, sometimes it depends on who's the biggest babyface now, and the biggest babyface will come out last. But I thought that was really fucking awesome. I think it would have been better to have, like I said, just little nitpicks. It would have been cool to have John Cena come out, standing in the ring, watching all this, thing, and what he thinks about just standing watching him, do that, and it would have been cool to have, like, maybe after John Cena won the match, having the big flag, cut the big American flag, because that's been the biggest gimmick with Rusev. After he wins, the Russian flag comes down. It would have been cool to see that. So, anyways, great entrance by Rusev. I really loved it. It was visually awesome seeing him coming out with that tank. The match was really good as well. Then you had Lana actually costing Rusev the match. John Cena picking up the win like I knew he would, and claiming himself as the champion. As the United States champion, really putting prestige back into that United States title. Mwah. Loved it. So, great pay-per-view, guys. And, I think that's all. Let's talk about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal real fast. That one was kind of exactly how I kind of thought it was going to be. Of course, as we all knew, finally the dragged out storyline between Damien Sandow and Mizdow, Damien Mizdow and The Miz finally took place, and you saw Mizdow throwing out The Miz. Very cool to see. And then you had the Big Show picking up the win. I agreed with the win of the Big Show. I did, because like I said, he's always been compared to Andre the Giant, and made the most sense. And the one thing that really made JBL seem pretty stupid was, I mean, if you don't know something for a fact, don't say it. I know he kept saying, oh yeah, he's never won a battle royal, and then he kept mentioning WCW World War III. He won World War III '96, jackass. I mean, if you don't know about it, it's okay if you don't know. Just don't mention it. He won World War III '96 because that's what led into the Big Show the first time where he left the NWO. The first time he left NWO is because he won the World War III, which guarantees you a title shot, and he wanted his title shot against Hogan, so he got jumped out of the NWO the first time. I mean, the guy was in the NWO 3 times. If he would have asked Kevin Nash, he'll only tell you 2, because Kevin Nash can't even remember what he ate for breakfast. He can't remember anything. That guy never asked. If you guys ever met Kevin Nash, very nice guy. Does not know his wrestling trivia or the own shit that he did to save his life. He thought that Big Show was in the NWO 1 time in WCW and 1 time in WWE. It was actually 2 times. Kevin Nash, 2 times Mr. Hall of Famer. Anyways, Big Show winning that match, completely agreed with that. Loved it a lot. The only thing was, I wouldn't have had The Miz and Big Show wrestle a little bit. After the Mizdow threw out The Miz, I would have had the Big Show just dunk him. I wouldn't give the fans hope that Mizdow was going to win, whatever. And another thing that I liked about this WrestleMania too, this was a first time in a long time, only 3 WrestleManias that I can actually think of this happening, where you had WrestleMania got won by a heel. The main event, the title game. I think this is only the 3rd time. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the 3rd time that the main event closed with the heel winning. I mean, we had this one with last night with Seth Rollins winning the title. The last time I thought that happened was 27 with The Miz, when The Miz beat when The Miz beat Cena and you had the Rock cost them. But everybody was so happy about that, and no one really, I guess, thought about it that way with the heel ending the show, because it was all about setting up. I mean, The Miz, even though he was the champion, he walked out the champion, it was all setting up Rock and Cena. That's all anyone cared about in that WrestleMania. But still, you had that heel winning the title and leaving there. And the last time that happened before that was 16 with Triple H, Mankind, and The Big Show, and The Rock. Triple H winning the champion, and he left the champion, and he was a heel. So those are the only 3 times I could really remember the show ending with a heel. So, you know, here's my little toy belt here. I'm just looking down on the table. I have a bunch of toys here on the table, and I have this headless Shawn Michaels. My son broke that. And then I have this collector's Jericho car here. You guys might have remembered these WCW cars. I'm reorganizing my shelf. I think I'm gonna build my wrestling shelf upstairs. I just have a bunch of shit hanging on over here. But anyways, I got off topic like I tend to do, guys. But anyways, that was WrestleMania. Very good, man. I have to say, this is one of the better WrestleManias in a long time. Tomorrow I will be shooting out my Monday Night Raw review. I do hope to make, I don't know, don't bank on it. I really do want to do my Let's Talk Wrestling 1-hour podcast talk show on here, episode number 3, sometime this week. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of rumors, a lot of different things. So there's always a lot of videos that I have. There's a lot of videos that I want to do. Just really haven't had the time to do them lately, and I apologize for that, guys. I love pumping out these videos. So anyways, this will conclude that, and until the next one, wrestling fans, be happy that we're finally getting some good shit from WWE, but don't expect it to last, because they always do this for WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw the next week, couple weeks. It's always good, then it drops back down again, because the writing crew will never change anytime soon. So until then, take care, guys. See you for the next video.